As director of the Lucy-Desi Museum, I need to thank each of you for being here tonight. Because by being here, you are supporting the Lucy-Desi Museum and the museum's ongoing efforts to keep alive the memory of Desi Arnaz and Jamestown's most famous daughter, Lucille Ball. Tonight, as we celebrate the third anniversary of the museum with the 9th annual Lucy-Desi Festival, we are fortunate to have with us a comedy legend,
master impressionist, comedy legend, and friend of Lucille Ball, Mr. Ruch. Better legs on a piano.
Well, I got to tell you, this is exciting for me. First of all, being here this evening in this great theater and seeing that show done, I hate to tell you, Kenny, 28 years ago?
Oh, wow. Whatever possessed me to wear those side monk. I'll tell you, it was almost like watching it for the first time. Really, that was a long time ago. I haven't seen that before. And I'm looking at it going, I've got some those days. I don't know what I did that today. I must have been scared of my wits. But I was at the height of my career back then, 1971. I was on a roll and a little cocky, you know, I mean, what a thrill to do a show with Lucy. It's just dawned on me now. She was great. She was absolutely great. I was so nervous, I can't tell you. Because they wrote that especially for me, which was quite an honor. And I didn't even know whether she knew me or not, but she said, no, I've seen you a lot on television. I love your work. We wrote this script especially for you. And I can remember the first day showing up for rehearsal. God, I was nervous. Anyway, I talked to a few people that worked with her because I wanted to know about her, you know, to be prepared. And I got varying reports from people. Some people said, oh, wow, she's pretty tough, you know. I mean, boy, you better know your stuff, boy. She can be pretty demanding, you know. And then I talked to somebody else, oh, she's a pussycat. She's great. She loves entertainment. She's easy to get along with. You'll have a ball, you know. But I did know one thing. Be prepared. They told me, you know, don't go to rehearsal and say you haven't read the script. So what I did was I learned my part before the first rehearsal. I learned all my lines. So when I went to the first reading, I knew all my lines, and that impressed her a lot. She said, believe me, your lines. I studied. Wow. She said, not many people do that. That's great. So right away, I knew, you know, this is good. And then the other thing about it that was great was that she loved people to improvise, to ad-lib. And a lot of those lines were ad-lib that you saw. And she loved that. If it worked, she loved it. And I can remember her saying, that's great, what you just did, that's terrific. Write this down, put this in the script, this is great. And so it kept building and building and building. And we got along just famously because I was prepared and knew what I was doing. But it was so much fun to do that. I mean, they shot that almost like live because there were 3 cameras and we didn't stop. I mean, it just kept going like a live performance. And I must have been nervous as hell. I hadn't seen the show, did I? stayed within the character, And I loved her. I also liked as a kid Laurel and Harvey. They were my all-time favorites when I was a kid. Laurel and Harvey. That was kind of over the top and slapstick too, but it was clever. See, if it was clever and slapstick, I liked it. I wasn't a huge fan of Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis. I thought that was kind of silly. But a lot of people liked them, of course. It's just personal taste. Milton Berle was a bit corny for me. I appreciate him. I thought he was talented, but I wasn't that big a fan. But Laurel and Harvey, God, slapstick, yes, but clever. And those characters will live forever. I mean, the one that used to kill me was Harvey, of course, and of course, Stan was. Ole, I just talked to the boss, and he wants us to measure this flagpole and see how high it is. So I got a tape here, and I'm going to climb up the flagpole, and I'm going to measure it. Well, wait a minute. What are you going to do that for? Why, that's absurd. You don't have to climb up there. Why, you'll break your neck if you climb up there. I tell you what. Why don't we pull the flagpole out of the ground, lie it down, and we'll measure it that way. It'll be a lot easier. Well, we can't. You see, he wants the height, he doesn't want the length. On the street, Norton, you cross over to the other side.
Yeah, rocket boy there. Ralph, when I see you coming down the street, there is no other side.
They're all my favorites. Comedy teams. Well, to bring it up to date, how about Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon? Aren't they great together? You know those two have made like 10 movies together, Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon. 10 films together. I love Walter Matthau. God. There's a face that could hold a 4-day wing. Talk about an attitude, huh? Walter Matthau.
And third, your punch. Not only are you a punch, you're driving me crazy.
I am driving you crazy. You know something, Walter? Not only are you miserable, you are ugly. If you looked up the word ugly in the dictionary, you will see your picture. I swear to God, you're the ugliest man that's ever born.
How do you like that? The guy just called me ugly. You people heard him right here tonight. He called me ugly. You know, I did a little research the other day. I found out that 1 out of 3 people in Jamestown are ugly. Could be more. 1 out of 3 people in Jamestown are ugly. You people don't buy this. Right now, spin around and take a look at the person on your right. Wait a second, don't make it obvious, just take a peek. And take a glance at the person on your left. And if they look okay to you,
Where is Johnny Carson? I know he just went through a quadruple bypass.
Did he?
Heard about this? Huh? Yeah. I'm surprised he had that operation. He didn't need to, you know. Because he could have had somebody fill in for him. Like nobody else did. I was unavailable at the time. But I like Johnny Carson. I wish he would do something, because he hasn't done anything lately since he retired. And there's nothing. How the hell can we do nothing? How would you know when you were through? Anyway, who will ever forget Monday to Friday on NBC at 11:30 p.m. when Ed McMahon would step to the microphone and say, "It's the Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson along with Doc Severinsen and the NBC Orchestra, and now here's Johnny!"
That's what you did.
I know.
Wow, did you people hear the news? Do you know that apparently there's nobody now living on the island of Malta? Did you know this? Do you care?
What do you care? Can you see her?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Apparently the people on Malta do this. They don't know where they're going. From what I can understand, everybody that used to live on Malta have been transported over to the Falkland Islands. So now there's nobody living on Malta. They're now all living on the Falkland Islands. And from here on in, they're going to call this group the Maltese Falklands. Incidentally, this happens to be the one and only Karnak envelope. The hell was that, a mercy clap? And your 16-year-old daughter meet President Clinton.
That hits close to home here.
Your daughter coming first in the Yasser Arafat lookalike. Who the hell would call her kid Yasser? Who did this? When he was born, his mother said, "This is a Yasser." And the father said, "Yasser, it's my baby." And perverted computer salesman show your daughter his floppy disk. Is that man ugly or not? Yasser Arafat is so ugly.
How ugly is it?
Funny you should ask. If this guy lies on the beach, the tide refuses to come in. please. A home run and a triple. A first baseman's glove, a catcher's glove, and Dolly Parton. Man, 2 big hits, 2 big mitts. Anyway, those are some of my... She said, "Why are you not getting it?"
You're ready.
You know, after I did that episode of Lucy, I got a little note from Jimmy telling me how much he enjoyed it. And he said he saw it. And he said, "Oh, gosh," he said, "it was just great the other night." He said, "Gloria was his wife." He said, "We were on the floor. I just howled at that." And he was like, "He has to really sound like that?" He was the first. He was a wonderful imagination. Working with Lucille Ball was great, but working with Jack Benny and Jimmy Stewart, we were all my idols as a kid. And even John Wayne I got to work with once. Matter of fact, one time I was with John Wayne, and he said, "Well, before you leave here, I want you to show me how I do my walk. I'm losing it." Stood back, and I had to do John Wayne's walk right in front of him. I was nervous. Oh, my God. He was staring at me, and I got up my courage, and I actually did it right in front of him. He looked at me for the longest time and said, "So that's how I do it." Well, hell, I've been walking like Loretta Young for 30 years.
What? Did you or did you not, on the date in question or any other time previously or subsequently say or intimate to the defendant or anyone else, whether friend or acquaintance, or in fact a stranger, that the statement imputed to you, whether just or unjust, and denied by the plaintiff, was a matter of no moment or otherwise? Now, did you or did you not? I don't know, did you repeat the question?
Sitting up in one of the top squares, that's where they usually put me. And that was about 30 feet off the ground for up on top, right? I was usually in the top right-hand corner, opposite Wally Cox. And below Wally Cox, down in the other, the left-hand corner down below was Charlie Weaver. And Charlie passed on, George Vogel took his. Anyway, Paul was always in the center. Always. I can remember sitting up there in that top right-hand square many nights, tears streaming down my face. I was laughing so hard. Oh, there were nights when I used to wet myself. Now, sitting right below me, I forget it. Not important anyway. Poor guy drowned. ever heard from Paul. One night, Peter Marshall, who was hosting the show, said, Paul, we have a cooking question. In preparing chicken tetrazzini properly, you should always remove something from the chicken first. What is it? And Paul said, the rooster. Who would come right up. Like I remember another night, Peter Marshall said, Paul, can you get an elephant drunk? And he said, yes, but you'll never get it up to your car. I used to write these down. There was another one that was almost as good as the chicken. Oh yeah. Paul, when a man gives a great performance, it's customary to say, bravo! Bravo! What do you say when a woman gives a great performance? And Paul said, mind if I smoke?
Yeah!
And then Peter Marshall said, according to the World Cookbook, is it all right to stuff a goose with prunes? And Paul said, yes, but for God's sake, don't let it fly. But anyway, there's no mercy here. There's no mercy. We'll get to him in a couple minutes. I just want to do some quick politicians for you, okay? Now, my favorite politician, you see, most people think it's Nixon, because I was associated with Nixon, you know. And I used to, you know, I mean, I gave him so much back in the 70s. I was erasing myself. You know, I remember the first time I came to Washington. I was a young senator, and of course, at this particular time, the thing was, I give it, God, I'm having a jowl movement. No, my favorite politician, not Richard Nixon, Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan was my all-time favorite. When he was president, I think I performed at the White House about 6 or 8 times. He was my best audience. When I would do him, I swear he would fall down on the floor screaming with laughter. Once Nancy explained the jokes to me. He had a marvelous sense of humor. Oh, president of Sri Lanka. My kind of affair. Damn it, I got held up in traffic and I was late. Oh, God, and I checked in, the security and everything, running down the hall towards the Lincoln room, where this tea was, and I see Reagan outside of the room talking to the press. This was at the time of the grenade incident, right? And the press were firing questions at him. He was getting really impatient because he wanted to get into this tea and not sandwich. So he's looking at his watch, and I come down the hall, and he goes, "Rich, thank God you're here." He said, "Listen, you do me better than I do. You take over." I'm going for a sandwich. For God's sake, don't get us into a war. Exactly what he said. So I'm standing there with the press. This is a true story. I'm standing there with the press, and they're firing questions at me like I'm the president. And Reagan goes into the Lincoln room, right? And I thought he disappeared. I see his face peeking around the door. And the press are just talking to me like I'm the president. Mr. President, what do you think of Grenada? Well, I think it's the best song that... You know, someone asked me just the other day. They said, "Mr. President, do you think the war on poverty is over?" And I said, "Yes, absolutely. And the poor lost." Close. Those poor devils should have quit while they were ahead. And of course they didn't, and we knew this. And they paid the ultimate price. They're now poor. You can see them in Las Vegas in the casino. Then a young man came up to me and asked me a rather peculiar question, and I didn't know what to make of this, of course. This young man said, "Mr. President, are you educated?" I said, "What?" He said, "No, did you finish college?" And I said, "Well, yes, I did. I'm a college grad. Why?" And then this young man said to me, "Well, I heard a rumor that you were a dropout." I said, "What?" He said, "Were you a dropout?" I said, "No. No, I was cesarean." Give me a couple of seconds here. I gotta empty my mind. I did not do anything wrong, and I promise never to do it again. I did have a sexual relationship with Monica Lewinsky. It was not appropriate. In fact, it was wrong. However, I did inhale. I think the most important thing in marriage today is trust. And once you know how to fake that, you've got
got it made. I would like to give you my definition of sex. Actually, it's not my definition. It's the medical dictionary's definition of sex. If I was ever called before the grand jury, this would have been my defense. The medical dictionary's definition of sex. Sex is the sense of pleasure we get from our sexual organs. It is as much psychological as it is physical. In fact, all our thoughts, all our fantasies, everything comes from the brain. Our brain is our most powerful sexual organ because everything we do, everything we say, everything generates from the brain. Well, as you people know, when I was having sex with Monica Lewinsky, I wasn't using my brain. Therefore, I wasn't having sex.
Say hello to the Ku Klux Klan.
Jack Nicholson?
I'm walking through the cracks. Hey, how the hell are you, man? You guys are looking pretty good. Did you turkeys hear the news this morning? It was on all the papers. Yesterday, a Cuban bomber pilot. The guy's name was Juan Valdez. I gotta tell you, man, this guy Juan Valdez, this guy Juan actually buzzed the Capitol building in his plane while Congress was in session. And in this morning's paper, the headline read, Juan This is so bad. Juan flew over the Ku Klux. Clint Eastwood, all right? Clint Eastwood. I love Clint Eastwood. You like Clint? Or as I call him, Squint Eastwood. He's always squinting. How the hell is this guy stealing? All right, let's do something unusual with Clint Eastwood, okay? How about we have Clint Eastwood as the tiny boy? I know what you're thinking. Were there 4 flushes or were there 5? To tell you the truth, in all the confusion, I can't seem to figure it out myself. But seeing this is the most powerful toilet bowl in the country, capable of blowing a man's ass, you know? You gotta ask yourself, do you feel lucky? Well, do you, punk? Can I take a dump, punk? Go ahead.
She was the ugliest woman I've ever known. God, she was ugly. She'd make a train take a dirt roll. She'd have to sit in the corner and feed her with a slingshot.
Spain,
Yeah.
the big sleep, the Maltese Falcon. The Maltese Falcon. Nobody ever understood what the hell the plot was, but it didn't matter. Bogey played Sam's way. All right, shut up and listen, fat man. I guess you thought I was going to play the patsy for you. I play the sap for nobody. I do know this, Scotland. You had the weasel here call Mrs. McAdoo and told her to call Archie. Then you tried to place the blame of his death on me. Well, it would have worked, too, except for one thing. You didn't know that I'd already talked to Conrad 2 days before the murder in the lobby of the Bryan Arms on Powell Street. I told him to check out Brisbane's alibi. Brisbane knew that if he checked it out, it wasn't only that the Thursby was double-crossing, but he knew that Thursby was double-crossing because the gardener, Rondo, he knew exactly what was going on. Now, that didn't stop him. He attacked him in the garden. He knew that right away that he was not the gardener at all. He was an insurance man from Toledo.